102-88 as NBA analyst J.J. Reddick joins us now. And Steph had said after the game he was just trying to apply pressure, trying to create offense. I'm wondering what you saw from him, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but on defense as well, J.J.
He was great on both sides of the ball last night. And this is what Steph Curry does. He does put pressure on your defense. He does it in transition. We saw the pull-up three against Jason Tatum. He does it with his off-ball movement. And last night, he did it a lot in the pick and roll. Boston so far has played primarily drop coverage. And Steph Curry talked after the game about he's trying to make the right decision every time. And against that drop coverage, the right decision is that pull-up three, which he was able to hit. If they do blitz, he can make the pass to the short roll, and they play 4-on-3. And on those switches, he has been really good in isolation. And he's locking up Peyton Pritchard here. He had 3 steals last night. Just an absolute great game from Steph on both sides of the ball.
Is he the most important player on the floor in this series?
Oh, he's always going to be the most important player on the floor because look, we live in a solar system that is heliocentric, and the Warriors' solar system is Steph Curry-centric. He's the center of everything that they do, and obviously Draymond is the quarterback on that defensive end, but offensively, Steph is absolutely the most important player on the floor.
On either team. I mean, I think you could argue he's the most important player in the finals period. Celtics, 3.5-point home favorites in Game 3, and the Warriors, well, now they're favored to win the series. You know, it changes every game. A -115 according to Caesars. Thanks, JJ.
Yep.
I'm still Googling heliocentric. Way to go, JJ. Serious issues again for the Celtics last night in the third quarter. He's a smart young man. Boston committing 5 turnovers and made just 4 field goals. The Warriors outscored them by 21 points in that quarter. Also, the final 4.5 minutes of the third were where things got really bad. The Warriors outscored the Celtics 19-2 in that span. Boston did not make a single shot during this run. And this has been a trend for Boston all postseason. Overall, the Celtics have a -37-point differential in the third quarter of these playoffs, yet are positive in the other 3 quarters. Celtics coach Ime Udoka after the loss.
For us, it was that's a disappointing quarter, of course, but the first half was just as disappointing, only being down 2 and not playing good basketball at all. Turnovers started happening, let them back in the game, and just offense wasn't as crisp with the ball movement and passing. 11 of our turnovers were live ball turnovers, 9 of them out of steals, so got to be better.
All right, let's bring J.J. Reddick back. J.J., how does Boston fix their offense, especially in the third quarter?
Ime Udoka talked about it, and so much of the Celtics' struggles throughout these playoffs, not just in Game 2, are when they have high turnover nights. And in watching that third quarter, it wasn't just the turnovers. It was very little passing that was on time, on target. That's what we talk about all the time. Whether they were trying to hit a cut or make a kick-out pass, there wasn't enough crisp passing and crisp ball movement. The Celtics had more turnovers in that third quarter than they did field goals. And that's not a recipe that's going to get you a win against the Golden State Warriors. And I think a lot of this starts with Jason Tatum. When he has high turnover nights, the Celtics struggle. I also think his shot selection has got to be a little bit better. And credit the Warriors defense, of course, on that. But so far in this playoff series, Second Spectrum says that he's got the lowest shot quality of any player that's taken 5 or more shots. He's got to be better at decision making.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown combined for 36 points in the first half. They scored just 9 on 2 of 8 shooting in the second half. And heliocentric, an adjective having or representing the sun as the center and in the accepted astronomical model of the solar system compared with geocentric. J.J. Reddick dropping all of the knowledge.
Yes.
There you go.
Sports
there you go.
My dude, thank you.
We're going off the air at halftime. For our halftime show, you said the Warriors in the third quarter are the NBA's 31st team. Well, tonight they certainly demonstrated that.
And they consistently have done that over the last few years, and this is something, if you're the Boston Celtics, you got to pay attention to. But Steph Curry led the way. He shot confidence into his team. But the points off turnovers for the Golden State Warriors, that was the big difference. 33 big points off turnovers. When you're playing on the road in the NBA Finals, you just can't win like that.
Boston Celtics didn't come ready to play in the second half. They weren't the same team. They played like a team that said, we came and got what we came for in game 1. They didn't show up in the second half in game 2. They got blitzed like, 35-14 in the third quarter. Steph Curry goes ballistic. Jordan Poole shot 1 for 5 in the first half. It was a no-show, showed up in the second half and hit a couple of big-time three-pointers. But keep this in mind. Marcus Smart had 2 points for the game, 0 points in the second half. Al Horford, who led the Celtics with 26 points in game 1, had 0 points in the first half, 2 points for the game, okay? So when you take that into consideration, there is no question it was an anemic performance by the Boston Celtics. They were sloppy. They played with no urgency because they played like a team that said, we got what we came for, and the Warriors said, wake up. This is still a series to win.
They played like a team that got defended, Stephen A. They shot 37.5%. Listen to some of these numbers. Jason Tatum, who had one quarter, was 8 for 19. Al Horford, as you mentioned, 1 for 4. Jaylen Brown, 5 for 17. Marcus Smart, 1 for 6. Derek White, 4 for 13. They got defended. We asked the Golden State Warriors after the other night when they gave up a torrent of threes to play like a championship defense, and they did. So I'm not letting the Celtics off the hook where they didn't play well. They got defended. They got some of their own medicine. Golden State went back to the future and played the way we know a championship defense can play.
But this is what drives me crazy about you, Wilbon. I know you're right, but I don't believe you're being complete. I understand how elite Golden State's defense can be. But damn, 2 points?
Hey.
2? I'm just saying, there are elite defenses, okay, that put you on lockdown, and you can accidentally score 2 points in the second half of an NBA final.
Stephen A., after the other night, when Golden State on their own floor got torched like they were in a YMCA game, all right? They had to respond with real defense. We all talked about how long and athletic and strong the Boston Celtics players were, and all that's true, by the way.
Yes.
They may respond, but look, the playoffs are about zig and zag. And Boston got away with everything they wanted to in game 1 and nothing in game 2. That's how playoff series go.
The most fearless member of the Golden State Warriors was actually Draymond Green. I guarantee you the Boston Celtics going to look back at the footage of this game and look at the number of players that he jumped up in their face and was wolfing. They're going to show that because that level of toughness and leadership, that carried against Al Horford. It carried against Robert Williams III. Let me just say this out loud. Time Lord is injured. And it's going to be interesting to see if Robert Williams III can actually finish this series. He was out there limping, and I applaud him for trying to play. And Grant Williams got to play through the officiating. But Draymond Green, normally when a guy has a technical, Stephen A., Wilbon, and Greeny, they're not doing this. They're not doing this. The reason why he's doing that, he understood a sense of urgency, and he knew his team needed that toughness.
That was late in the second quarter. Many people wondering, would he wind up getting thrown out of the game with a second technical there? We talked about selective officiating, and he stays in and they blow him out in the second half. But to the point you were making earlier, Stephen A., the Celtics acting like they got what they came for, which I understand. But this was a 2-point game at halftime. They were right there with a chance to essentially put a stranglehold on this series, and then they got their doors blown off.
Well, I specifically said that it was the second half.
Yeah.
I didn't say the game.
No.
They said the second half when Golden State made a run, the level of urgency that they had to get a game wasn't there in game 2 because they got game 1. And I'm looking at it, and again, I'm not taking anything away from what Wilbon says in terms of how tenacious Golden State's defense was. But again, by accident, you can score 2 points. Al Horford, 2 points. Marcus Smart, 2 points. Robert Williams, 2 points. Come on, y'all. That's 6 points from 3 starters.
I want to go back to the point that you made a moment ago as well, Jalen. When we saw the Celtics struggle, we were with them through the entire Eastern Conference Finals. They turned the ball over a lot. Tonight, the edge in points off turnovers was Warriors by 18. They win the game by 19. It's not a coincidence.
Points off turnovers, what does that do? It allows the Golden State Warriors to get out in transition, play against an open, play with an open floor, get open shots in transition, and get layups. We are enamored by the Golden State Warriors 3-point shooting because they have the Splash Brothers. But what they continue to do is always get layups. And this is why coming into this game, I was like, if the Celtics going to win game 2 on the road, it has to be their best players. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum first half had 36 points. Second half, they had 9 points. The role players got them that win in game 1. Stars would have got it done in game 2.
What I find amazing, and I'll throw this to you, Wilbon, what I find amazing is with Brown and Tatum, they can't seem to put back-to-back games together. One does it one game, the next guy does it the next game, et cetera, et cetera. They can't seem to put back-to-back elite games together for each other. That's going to be interesting.
Well, you know what, Stephen, that's a great observation. And when we start examining